Welcome. The Utah Head Start Association congratulates you for having been elected to your Head Start agency's Policy Council. We're sure that participating on the Policy Council will be fun for you. We believe it will be educational and meaningful for you too, as you help make decisions that will have a positive impact on your child's life.
We vote on what we want our children to learn. What do we think is important for our kids? And that's what our aim is in Policy Council, is to provide the best education for the Head Start kids. Do we want them to learn how to play together? Do we want them to learn how to talk to each other? Do we want them to learn table manners? Do we want them to learn how to share?
If you're feeling a little nervous about joining a group of strangers, remember that your child probably felt that way too when he or she first came to Head Start. And like your child, little by little, you'll make new friends. In fact, you'll find that many of the interpersonal and communication skills that you'll use on the Policy Council, such as listening and waiting your turn, are skills you learned as a child.
Bailey, will you get Leslie's attention?
Leslie? What?
And that brings us to what we should always keep in mind on Policy Council: the education and health of our children. Your participation on the Policy Council will not only help your child, it will help you as well. You'll learn a lot about how Head Start programs operate and how they contribute to your child's growth and education. You'll also learn about the issues involved in running an agency, and you'll have an opportunity to increase your leadership skills. These skills and the self-confidence you develop on Policy Council will help you in many other volunteer activities and in the workplace as well.
It's made me more confident to speak out and tell people exactly how I feel, tell them my side of the story, how things like that, whereas before I used to kind of like be the little person that sits in the back of the room who really didn't want to be bothered. It was just like, okay, I'm here, leave me alone, talk to everybody else.
It also helped me with a social network. When I have my 3 grandkids, that's kind of my whole network right there, is just the kids. But when I go to Policy Council, there's adults there.
Every Head Start agency has a volunteer Policy Council that participates in the decision-making, also called governance, of the program. This Policy Council is made up of parents like you, as well as community representatives. The agency also has a professional staff and a governing body, usually a volunteer board of directors, although some programs may be operated by entities such as school districts, universities, or tribal councils. Together, the Policy Council, the staff, and the governing body govern the Head Start program. This is called shared governance. You might think of the Head Start program as a 3-legged table where one leg is the Policy Council, another is the staff, and the third is the governing body. To stand up and function properly, the program needs all 3 legs. While shared governance is always an important objective, the degree of interaction between the Policy Council and the governing body varies from program to program. The main responsibilities of the Policy Council are to be a place where parents can bring up their suggestions or concerns, to discuss and approve or disapprove actions the staff proposes, to help plan Head Start activities, and to help Head Start be inclusive, taking into consideration the diversity of children and their families. At Policy Council meetings, you are the voice and ears for the other parents from your Head Start program. After the meetings, it's your job to report back to the parents who elected you about issues that were discussed at Policy Council and decisions that were made. You truly represent the parents from your program. It's democracy in action. Not only that, but the more you work with other parents, and the more the parents work with the staff, the more effective the program will be in helping your child. After all, where would we be without teamwork? You may ask why Head Start was set up this way, with parents sharing in the governance. The answer is that Head Start respects you as a parent, knows you care deeply about your child, and recognizes that you are the most important educator in your child's life. In fact, research shows that the more involved you are in your child's education, the more successful your child will be as a lifelong learner.
What are these?
A cat, a dog, and a rabbit.
Policy Council meetings are run by the parents themselves. Each Policy Council elects officers who serve for 1 year. a president who runs the meetings, a vice president who assists the president and fills in when the president is absent, a treasurer who keeps track of financial matters, and a secretary who writes the minutes, which are a record of what is said and done at the meeting. In some policy councils, one person is both secretary and treasurer. These officers are usually Head Start parents, and often they learn how to perform their responsibilities on the job while on the policy council.
The third meeting that we had, Lena asked if I could take the minutes, just kind of like a fill-in, because they didn't know if our secretary was going to be there or not. I said, sure, fine. Do I have to sit in the front? She goes, well, yeah, you got to sit in the front, but you'll be fine. You'll be okay. Well, needless to say, I was nominated. I'm thinking to myself, oh, no, choose another name, choose another name, choose another name. I don't want to do it, no. But I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. It gives me an opportunity to continue to be a part of Head Start and to help out any way I can.
It may seem a little intimidating to take all this on, but don't worry. Everyone is still learning, and you can always find someone who will be happy to help you along. Each policy council looks different depending on the agency, but some things can be said for almost all policy council meetings. There will be a discussion about a variety of topics related to the Head Start program. Head Start staff may ask for suggestions about programs and activities. The Head Start director may make a report. Representatives from the various parent committees will probably report about activities at their centers. And sometimes, community representatives will give reports. Often issues come up where there's a fair amount of discussion. Be sure to listen to the points of view of others and feel free to speak up. Your views will be welcome because Head Start staff are always looking for ways to strengthen the program and make it better for children and families. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you don't understand something. If you have a question, you're probably not alone. The staff or another policy council member will be glad to explain anything you need to help you make an informed decision. One thing you'll notice at the policy council is the amount of paperwork. This is because the federal laws that support Head Start are complicated. There are many regulations, and the federal government sends audit committees to be sure the regulations are followed. These regulations and audits help ensure that funds are spent effectively in your Head Start program. When you join Policy Council, you might think it seems a little formal. That's because there are certain rules that are followed to ensure that all members have a chance to express their point of view and to make decisions in a democratic way. The process is actually quite simple. If you want the Policy Council to agree to something, you say you are making a motion.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the new hire.
The president asks for a second to the motion.
Can I get a second for that?
Then someone else seconds the motion.
I will second the motion.
After that, there's opportunity for discussion and the vote.
All in favor? So ordered.
It's similar to the democratic process used in our national Congress and in every state legislature. The idea is that the majority rules, but all points of view are respected, listened to, and considered. Sometimes new members are afraid to speak because they don't know the proper way to state their comment. Don't worry, because if you make a mistake, someone will help you. What you have to say is more important than getting the rules exactly right. Your term on the Policy Council will vary depending on the agency. During your term, you'll be expected to attend meetings, held regularly, usually once per month. The length of the meetings depends on the amount of work to be done. Head Start would like to make it as easy as possible for you to attend your Policy Council meetings. Please let the staff know if you have barriers to attending, such as special needs in the areas of transportation, childcare, foreign language, or disability.
You take the elevator, just going to make a right, and then you'll see your name tag and your...
I'll go with you.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, let's go that way.
All right.
Okay. Let me help you.
Sometimes additional time is required. For example, when a program needs to look carefully at policies, job descriptions, physical facilities, or other complex matters. At those times, Policy Council members may be asked to meet in committees in order to discuss these issues before taking them to the entire Policy Council for a vote. But don't worry that Policy Council will take over your life. The Head Start staff are very competent, hard-working folks who keep things running smoothly. You don't have to be concerned about administering the day-to-day operations of the program or taking precious time from your family. Although it's your responsibility to report back to your parent group, you'll sometimes need to exercise judgment and keep information to yourself. This is because the Policy Council will sometimes deal with issues that are controversial, personal, or in stages of development where talking publicly about them could be premature or inappropriate. As a Head Start leader, you now have the responsibility to act professionally and keep this type of information to yourself. Sharing information outside Policy Council is a serious matter and could cause legal problems for the agency. Just as you count on your Head Start teacher or a family advocate to keep your personal information private, we count on you to keep Head Start business confidential. Because of this, some policy councils require members to sign a confidentiality agreement when they join. Here's another thing to be aware of. The Policy Council members work as a team, and their authority comes only as they act together. There have been times when individual Policy Council members have misunderstood this point and have acted as though they had authority over the staff or authority to speak for the program. This type of behavior violates the foundation of Head Start. The success of the children is based on the collaboration and teamwork of the adults. Therefore, all decisions about programs or personnel must be made by the entire Policy Council team working together. Sometimes you may be asked to make a decision about Head Start policies, review procedures, or approve hiring or even terminating an employee. You may be asked to look over the financial statements of the agency. Almost all these decisions will have a direct impact on the children in the Head Start Center. So be sure to ask yourself, how will this affect my child and the other children in Head Start? After all, our goal is to provide the best Head Start program for children and families. And who knows best what children and families need than the families themselves?
It's really nice knowing that you do have a voice in what's going on and what your child learns.
Long after your child leaves Head Start, you'll be able to help him or her with what you learn on the Policy Council, the communication skills you develop, your ability to work in a group, your understanding of how children learn, your appreciation of the issues involved in running educational programs, and the self-confidence you build. All these will make it easier and more fun for you as you follow your child through his or her entire schooling, whether it's a question of talking with a teacher or principal, or joining and working with the PTA. Remember, the more you're involved with your child's education, the more successful he or she will be in school and in life. So come into the Policy Council with a willing heart and an open mind. After you leave, you'll look back at the ways in which the program benefited from your time, your expertise, and your wisdom. What's more, you'll recognize how much you've grown from the experience.
It's just been blessing after blessing for me. And now I'm a happy grandma raising 3 happy kids instead of a terrorized grandmother trying to find out what am I going to do to keep from losing my mind. At the end of the year, they brought us each a flower, a potted flower, after we participated and went to Policy Council month after month. We thought that that in itself was a gift.
Often, it's difficult for parents to leave the Policy Council because of the friendships they've made and the wonderful feeling of contributing to the Head Start program. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be involved in your child's education and learning.
And I was like, wow, okay, maybe my time is worth something. I mean, it's nothing huge or big, but it's kind of nice when somebody says, you know what, this is an appreciation for you giving us your time. We want to give you something in return.
And it just keeps reminding me that Head Start Policy Council is worthwhile and they do appreciate what we do.